So here's your News 8 Storm Team forecast for Churchtown in Lancaster County and the rest of the Susquehanna Valley. It's going to be a sunny day, a little bit cooler than it should be at this time of year. And we'll see some high clouds filtering in. 7 in Reading as well, 86 in Lancaster. And what I'm going to show you now is the dew point. This is a way meteorologists, we measure how sticky the air feels out there. You see it's very close to that 70-degree mark, if not at or over that 70-degree mark. I always like to bring out the muggy meter at this time to give you an idea of just how uncomfortable that feels. And we're up here almost in that tropical range. And that's going to continue tomorrow. And then we're going to see some relief as we go from tomorrow night into the day on Friday. Friday we'll be back to more comfortable ranges with our dew points in the 50s. And then actually it's been such a cold winter, I want to do something a little bit different tonight and interact a little bit with our viewers. There's a link there on the screen, tinyurl.com/WGAL8. Earlier tonight on our Facebook page, I asked you, the viewers, after the cold winter, how do you feel so far about April? And I gave you 3 choices. It's still too cold, just right, or it got warm too fast. The overwhelming response was it's still too cold. 73% of you said. In reality, this April is just right. In fact, April temperatures are slightly above where they should be at this time of year. So if we look at the current temperatures across the east, you can see there's that warm air down by the Gulf. Here's that chillier air coming in around high pressure off to our north. Now that high is moving away. The storm's going to move closer, and this warm air is going to come in, and that's going to affect our weather going into tomorrow. Of course, on social media, we've been asking today, are you ready for the return of cold weather? And so far in the Susquehanna Valley, the answer is a resounding no. Again, that temperature of 48 degrees, that's actually 10 degrees higher than where we should be. I don't need to tell you the last week has been awful warm. As you go back just after the Christmas holiday, close to 60 degrees. Even the last couple days, it's been above average. Even today, the high temperature forecast at 48, that actually occurred just after midnight. As we go into the afternoon, it's going to stay steady, if not drop a little bit. These are all the days where we were above average in the month of December. Notice there's no blue squares on there at all. The last date we were below average for temperature on a day was November 23rd. That's before Thanksgiving. And most of these days were significantly above average, sometimes 20 to 30 degrees higher, most of them coming in the last 2 weeks. We had a record high of 70 on the 24th and 2 other record highs, 64 on the 13th, 59 on the 27th. This was an incredibly warm December, shattering the record for the previous warmest December back in 1923. That's almost 4 degrees warmer. That's very, very unusual. Today is October 12th, and it could get quite chilly, as you know, this time of year. In fact, if we take a look at the earliest morning where these different towns have hit 32 degrees or lower, you see it mainly happens in September, but notice here in Lancaster, the earliest freeze we ever had was October 12th, back in 1996. So from this point on, you know, the chill is going to start to arrive. How many states have snow somewhere on the ground right now out of 50, Meredith? Yes? 49 out of the 50 states have snow on the ground. The one that is letting us down today is Hawaii. Now you might think, well, Hawaii, that makes sense. They shouldn't have snow. But in fact, they have some very tall mountains there, and frequently they have 12, 13 inches of snow as we head into February and March. But here's a look at the snow cover across the United States. Yes, even Florida got into the act yesterday. And out here in the Rocky Mountains, we do have some deep snowpack too. Everywhere you see purple right now, that's where we have 2 feet or more on the ground. You see out there in the west, up here in the Dakotas and Minnesota, and right here in the Susquehanna Valley, as well as northern Maine. So kind of the bullseye of the last couple storms, as you know, has passed through here. There's some meteorologists doing some research. They believe that this is the most extensive snow cover that we've ever had on weather record. So this is what the temperature feels like right now. That's the wind chill. And if we want to put this in perspective, I want to show you what's coming in the forecast. If this morning our wind chills were here in the lower 20s, well, by the time we get into the late in the day on Monday, even going into Tuesday, it's going to be down here. In the last forecast, I talked about how unusually warm it's been in December, and I have a saying I have is, the nice comes at a price. So I'm going to look back at the calendar one more time, but this time I'm going to look at the amount of sunshine we had in the month of December. Any day that was considered clear will be a blue square, cloudy will be white, and overcast is going to be gray. Take a look at this, even including yesterday. Just tons and tons of overcast days in the month of December. Only 2 days where we had considerable clear skies. In fact, there are only 5 days where we had more sunshine than we had clouds. The 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 8th, and the 20th was the last time that happened. I'm optimistic that today is a day that we can get more sun than clouds. In fact, that dreary weather also came with kind of a light rain and a mist from December 22nd to 31st. We had 11 straight days of rain reported at Harrisburg, and that has not happened since May of 2009. So we definitely were stuck in a gloomy pattern, but the pattern is changing to one more typical of what we should see at this time of year. So here's the News 8 Storm Team forecast for Lebanon and the rest of the Susquehanna Valley. It's going to become mostly sunny this afternoon. I've been here with WGAL for almost 16 years, and I've been interested in weather for 30, and I don't remember a year like 2015 when it comes to weather. Precipitation-wise, nothing too stunning. It was a little bit above what we would normally get. June was our wettest month. February and November were unusually dry, but every other month was basically where it should be. Temperature-wise, though, it was a weird one. We had a negative reading in March, the only time that's ever happened. We had -4 for our all-time low on February 4th. Our hottest day didn't even come until September, and it was only 95 degrees, with really warm months in May, September, November, and December. In fact, this year we went from the coldest February we ever had to the warmest December we ever had, and then just throw in there the second warmest May and the third warmest November. Just an odd year. And we're going to talk a little bit more about December coming up in the next half hour, but look at all the orange on there. Lots of days above average, 11 degrees for the seasonal high above where it should be. Definitely, it was a warm month, but now we're coming into more winter-like temperatures. So here's the News 8 forecast for our friends in Delta, southeastern York County, and the rest of the Susquehanna Valley. And it's been a real dry season so far. Since September 1st, we've had just over 2.5 inches of rainfall. Now that's 2.5 below where we should be. So we're only halfway to where we normally would be at this time of year. 8 days of measurable rain since September 1st, but 4 of those have come on weekends. Such is the case this weekend, where yesterday we had some rainfall, but today is going to be a dry day. Here we are on Tuesday. What's going to happen is this is going to cut off, and that little bowling ball of green there means we're going to have some unsettled weather. Clouds, spotty showers for the majority of the midweek. It's going to be also cooler as well. So in summary, yep, it's getting colder. It's going to stay sunny on Sunday, but it's going to be breezy as well, and then that's going to set us up for this unsettled midweek. Take a look at our high temperatures. Tomorrow, only 54. If we look at the rest of the 7-day forecast, here on Tuesday, that number 34, that's the low from Tuesday going into Wednesday. We've only had a low temperature above freezing one time so far in the calendar year 2014. And we actually have a red flag warning in effect on Thursday. Some of the Facebook followers were asking what that red flag warning is. And basically the National Weather Service is saying there's very dry conditions out there, and if you do any controlled burns with the wind, it could get out of control quickly. So that might be something you want to think about delaying. It's not something we see an awful lot here in eastern Pennsylvania. Closer to home, in 16 years in WGAL, I don't think I ever used an exclamation point, but I thought it was appropriate today. We're going to see the sun today, plenty of sunshine. It'll be breezy, though, cool, and it will stay dry this weekend. And the coldest air of the season, though, is coming. You'll see that in the 7-day forecast. Thursday late afternoon is when the snow develops. It's light to start. It's heaviest in the overnight hours, up until about the midnight hour. So there'll be some times that it comes out at a moderate rate, but then the wind's going to pick up. It's going to start to blow around in the early morning hours on Friday. We'll make a little bit of a tricky commute Friday morning, and the gusty winds will continue through the day, and it's going to be just a brutally cold day, one we're not used to. These are the accumulations that we're looking for, generally 2 to 5 over the Susquehanna Valley, more off to the east, the northeast, so if you're headed that way, that's something to be aware of. So let's take a more detailed look then at your travel plans. Anywhere that you can drive on the highway within about 5 hours. Out towards Pittsburgh in the west, I-76, I-80, plenty of sunshine. Temperatures in the 50s. It's going to be in the 50s as well if you're headed up into the Poconos. Let's take a look at the high temperature yesterday in Alexandria, Minnesota. It was 8 degrees. That wasn't the coldest spot in the United States, but not that far away in Louisville. 68 degrees for a high. That's only 750 miles apart. There's a very strong cold front in this region. You can see looking at the temperatures right now. Here's that warm surge of air coming up through the Tennessee Valley, and the temperatures in the 60s, 58 in Cincinnati right now, 26 in Chicago, 1 below out in Denver. That cold air is trying to work its way in here. You can see the cold front right here in the middle of your screen. That's working its way towards the Susquehanna Susquehanna Valley, but the center part of the energy of the precipitation is moving off to our north. So let's go ahead and zoom in here in the valley, and we'll take a look at our News 8 predictor. That's right, and the buses will be rolling out in just a couple of hours. We'll see some clouds around in the morning, but then the afternoon will become seasonal, a high of 74. It's also going to be a little bit breezier tomorrow compared to today. For eastern Pennsylvania, putting us in the bullseye as far as the amount of rain we can expect. The chance of rain is very high. Heavy rain through about 7 o'clock tomorrow. Then those chances diminish as we get to more showery weather during the day on Sunday. So what you need to know in the forecast is very simple. It's going to be wet for most of this weekend.
Final look at the weather.
That's right. And the sun is back, and we'll end our tour of the Susquehanna Valley here in Adamstown. And with your day planner, you'll see in the morning hours here, sun and clouds are starting off about 35 at 10 a.m. up to 38 by 1 as we head later on in the afternoon, heading up to a high around 40 to 42, and chilly overnight 35. And there's a 7-day forecast. A lot more sun than we've been seeing over the past several weeks. The coldest day of the season is coming Monday, Tuesday, but then it becomes more seasonal. Our next chance of precipitation, though, doesn't come until the end of the 7-day on Friday.
Well, we're due for cold weather.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for watching.
Thanks.
Matt. Thank you all for watching News 8 today. That's it.
When you bring the family to Branson, Missouri, you can take them to see a large replica Titanic, a giant banjo, or the world's largest rooster. Or you can take them down to the racetrack. That's the Segway racetrack.
This here is the Chicago dog, the bratwurst, and the Italian. Enjoy, guys.
Thank you. We heard it's closing, so we definitely had to come check it out. But yeah, definitely hot dogs is one of the best places to come.
You might want to ask people if they'd wait in line to get into any other place other than this one. Today it's probably about 45 minutes. If you come here on a weekend, it's probably a few hours.
My name's Rebecca Long. I am Associate Curator of European Art before 1800 at the Indianapolis Museum of Art, which is where we are today.
And so you can completely change your look just with changing a wig.
So if you're going through a tough time in life, need a boost of confidence, or just need to feed that addiction, JJ's in the Wig District provides its customers with that opportunity.